Do you think that there are chairs that people sit on? Many philosophers think there are no chairs. Do you disagree with them? Why? What's your evidence for that? Well, you might think it's just obvious that there are chairs. You see people sitting on these things we call chairs. But many philosophers will point out that what may seem obvious to you doesn't necessarily match with reality. What evidence is there that our common sense belief in chairs is actually true? Here's a reason some philosophers are skeptical of the existence of chairs. They begin by asking, what are the kinds of things that we know exist? And they'll point out that we know from science that there are basic particles. Maybe these particles are built up out of more basic things like superstrings. But whatever the case, there are these basic elements of reality from which everything else is composed. Now you might be thinking, okay, well, a chair is not a basic element of reality. A chair is rather a particular arrangement of basic elements of reality. The problem here, however, is that it's hard to see which arrangement the chair could possibly be. After all, any particular arrangement of particles gets replaced by a new arrangement of particles as particles are moving in and out of the so-called chair, or the particles are changing their particular relations to each other. No particular arrangement of particles lasts as long as these so-called common sense chairs are thought to last. And this is a reason that some philosophers are skeptical that there are any such things as chairs, because we can't identify what thing they would be. They wouldn't be the fundamental elements, and they wouldn't be particular arrangements of those fundamental elements. So then what are they? Well, if we can identify what the chairs would be in terms of things that we know to exist, then this is a good reason perhaps to be skeptical that chairs exist at all. Are you convinced? What's your evidence for thinking that there are chairs? Interestingly, I heard a similar argument against the existence of people. People, if they existed, would be more than just particles in various arrangements, but all that exists are particles in various arrangements, therefore there are no persons. Now, what's especially interesting to me about this no chair thesis is that it is empirically equivalent to the chair thesis. That is to say, there is no scientific experiment that we could do in principle to distinguish between the theory that in addition to the particles and the particular arrangements of particles, there are these things called chairs, versus the theory that there are no chairs. Now, some philosophers have suggested maybe we can translate chair talk in terms of particle arrangement talk. But then other philosophers disagree with that, and they think that that translation doesn't actually match with our ordinary language talk about chairs. Now, my goal is not to get you to become skeptical of the existence of chairs, but rather I just want to highlight the challenge of showing that something is true, something that's ordinarily believed, commonly believed, when it's empirically equivalent to its denial. When there's a theory on which it's not true, and it's compatible with all possible empirical data from our senses. And the chair theory, like I said, is empirically equivalent to the no chair theory. So if you think that there are chairs, what reason do you have for that? If you think you've got a good argument, feel free to share it in the comments below.